Good afternoon, ma'am.
Thank you.
Good afternoon, ma'am. कैसी हैं मैम आप?
ठीक है.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir. Here we go. Please
Okay.
start.
First of all, a very good afternoon to all the eminent doctors. Thank you so much for joining us on time. Thank you so much for joining on time. Our endeavor is to spread awareness about rabies, which is fatal but can be avoided once appropriately vaccinated. This is initiative from Cadila Pharmaceutical Limited through its innovation to serve the society of humankind, to save the society of humankind. The topic of webinar is novel 3 doses G protein vaccine ultimate key for compliance. Dear doctor, rabies is world first 3-dose anti-rabies vaccine. The G protein vaccine. We would like to inform you that rabies has successfully completed 1 year of launch with more than 40,000 animal bite victims being vaccinated. 100% compliance was recorded and no case of adverse event was registered. With this, it is my honor to introduce you to the speaker of today's webinars, Dr. Sandhya Khare, who is MBBS MD. Now I would like to request you, Dr. Sandhya Madam, to invite the talk the later on. We will have a question answer session. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay, thank you. It's Dr. Sandhya Khare reporting from Chitrakoot, and I would like to tell you something about the rabies vaccine. Previously, we were having those vaccines which were supposed to be in very early stages, somewhere in 17. We used to use those vaccines which were protein injections intra-abdominal, which used to enter into the spinal cord to prevent disease. This was again a passive immunity. Next time, later on, we started with the 5 vaccines, and which started from day 0 to 30th day of the month, 28 days of the month. This was supposed to be related with a lot of non-compliance. About slide, please.
Ma'am, wait for a few seconds. Technical support, dear sir.
Yes, sir. Few minutes. Sorry.
Slide is not showing.
Okay. 1 minute.
Ma'am, please give me 1 minute more, ma'am. Ma'am, please give me 1 minute more. Yes, ma'am. Now it's showing.
Okay.
Now it is showing.
Okay.
Yes.
Now, the initial rabies vaccines were passive immunity, whereas this vaccine is we are coming with 3 doses of vaccine in one week time. This is a very good setup to make the patient compliant to the regular doses of the 3 doses vaccine. And if once vaccinated and if the person gets a bite again, he has an active immunity and he will not develop the disease. So this is also a plus point, whereas these passive immunity, wherever the person suffered a dog bite or an animal bite, he was supposed to go for a vaccination again. Now, we would like to tell you one more thing, that 5 days completing in 28 days made the patient non-compliant to the vaccine, and we were resulting into a lot of rabies deaths. Next slide, please. Now this something about rabies. 59,000 human deaths occur annually, and it is supported with 20,000 deaths all over in India, about 35% of the global deaths of Asia. And 91% of the patients who are from rural areas are dying due to rabies. Next slide, please. Local wounds, the first aid, that local wound should be washed properly, and if at all, should be given enough oxygen, like potassium permanganate treatment, and these wounds should not be touched, or it should not be sutured, and it should be not even bandaged. Now, we talk about passive immunization, which was initially. Now talk about active immunization, how this rabies vaccine works. Now, in 5 doses, next slide, please. But current rabies vaccine is cell cultured. It is not killing any animal as such. It is a cell cultured vaccine, whereas the initial vaccines were chick embryo vaccine. Next, please. It's more stable, more potent, and available because 3 vaccines are required, so it is easily available with less of side effects. Next slide, please. Compliance is much more because it finishes, the whole dose finishes in 1 week time, so compliance is better. Whereas the other RAV vaccines took 60 days for complete, because after 28 days there was one more dose that was after 3 months, after 2 months. Now let's talk about, next slide, please. So I don't think so post-expo we need to talk about it. Now we can go. The reason for the details of death due to administration rabies immunoglobulins was poor compliance to vaccination, because people used to forget the date. आगे बात कर लेंगे उसके बारे में. Let's next slide, please. Now, in Safdarjung Hospital, it was seen that 53% were non-compliant to the full course of vaccine, and obviously that resulted into the death of the patients. Next slide, please. Now, in Municipal Corporation Hospital, we was again 28 days regimen, 60% in Bangalore. Also, there was 60% non-compliance. Next slide, please. The major constraints of non-compliance was first, forgotten dates. First was loss of wages, because the person who was on job used to think rather than going for a vaccination, it was the same time, so they were losing wages. So most of the people did not go for the vaccination because of the loss of wages. Forgotten dates. Then next was cost in occurrence, because actually this cost was slowly taken. So the cost of both the vaccines is nearly the same, but it was slowly taking the money, and so they said, "Arey, do lagwa liya, teen lagwa liya, forget it." Distance to the hospital, every time they have to go to the hospital to get it done, and it also interfered with the children's school timing. Next slide, please. Now, what is the difference? Non-standardized dried preparation, that was 31 up to 31 injections of increased immunogenicity. Then minimal neutral contents of the liquid preparation. You have to mix the two things together. Dried powder mixed with the I think so neutral liquid, and then the vaccine was given to the person intramuscular. But this vaccine is cell cultured and it is already well prepared. You have not to prepare it, but just to collect it in your syringe and push it IM. Next slide, please. Non-compliance led to the treatment regimen for 31 days. 5 doses is still on, but this treatment is still going on. But now we can compare the two together and then come forward to what it is. Next slide, please. Now, what is the... now, let's talk about the shorter regimen. Next slide, please. Novel 3 recombinant, it is already made with rabies G protein vaccine. It is genetically engineered and gives you active immunity. Next slide, please. The first protein subunit vaccine, and then this is how, I mean, we don't need to go into the details of all this, but it is ready to use and no reconstruction is required. That is the basic need, and it is easy easy flow, and the patient is also has to only go for 0, 3, and 7 days. Within a week, the vaccine is complete vaccination is covered. Next slide, please. Now, this is how the vaccine is prepared. I think so it's more technical rather than we going for any practical application of this. Next slide, please. A clinical study, safety, safety and immunogenicity, normal 3 doses, recombinant these are nanoparticles. They can enter into any part of the body without any, they don't require a cellular membrane to cross. Nanoparticles can go through any way into the uh, into the whole body, and can give you active immunization anywhere, even in the wound. You have not to wash the wound with vaccine. Initially, the wound was washed with vaccine. Now you don't need to do that. It will enter into the wound by itself. Next, wherever the circulation is, it will go into it. Now the comparative, there was a set taken of 800 patients, and out of it, 533 were exposed to the newer regimen, while the 267 patients were exposed to the 1 month regimen. Next slide, please. Now, according to the color, you can see immunization efficacy was both in both the cases. Safety was more seen in the safety, and adverse effects were less as compared. Local adverse local reactions were also less in the three dose regimen, and even there was less systemic adverse effects was also less. Taking it to small systemic like urticaria or Guillain-Barré syndrome and all that, it has not been reported in this vaccine. Okay, next slide, please. Less adverse. Now, in conclusion, I would like to say that 3-dose vaccine, it has less of adverse effects, and it is also better compliance due to 3 doses. Next, next slide, please. Next slide. It has been for the Pharma Innovation Prize also, Economic Times, and it has also been the Golden Global Tiger Award of Malaysia. These 2 prizes have been given to this vaccine. Next slide. Now, after in conclusion, I would like to say that we have been very happy. We practitioners have been very happy to come up with 3-dose vaccine so that we can prevent a lot number of deaths as compared to here. The death rate is, because of these vaccination, our death rate is really about 100% prevention of death rate with rabies. And now rabies is no more a non-preventable disease. It can be cured with proper and real-time management at the right time. If we manage this disease, we are not coming up with any more deaths with rabies. And I think so it will be very difficult. We have seen rabies patients in our lifetime, and in coming generations, I don't think so. Due to this vaccine, any more children, our young doctors will face any case of rabies. They will only see, something like that, ki what hydrophobia hota tha. Kabhi hota nahi tha. Thank you so much. Any more questions? Actually, I cannot hear. I cannot hear. तो क्या हो रहा है? लीव है, चल रहा है. cannot hear him.
Wait for a few minutes, ma'am. Wait for a few minutes. Technical support.
Yes, sir.
Have you any question? मतलब आपके पास कोई चैट बॉक्स में क्वेश्चन आया है क्या? Because we can कोई क्वेश्चन नहीं आया आपके पास? I'm not audible.
सर कोई भी क्वेश्चन.
Okay. Okay. Thank you so much, Sandhya madam, for the informative talk. We truly appreciate your effort. Last but not at the least, we would like to inform you that SABIS has won 2 prestigious awards in innovation category. Already you have shared, that is the Economic Times Indian Pharma Award and Golden Globe Tiger Award. So thank you for your valuable time, ma'am. I want to share just brief about our Thrabies. Is a world first 3-dose anti-rabies vaccine. That is Thrabies. Is a recombinant rabies G protein 50 microgram per 0.5 ml. मैम और 3 points are is very important. फर्स्ट ऑफ वन कि 5 डोज जो रेजिमेन अवेलेबल था उसमें डॉक्टर्स के लिए भी चैलेंज था, ऑलरेडी आपने बताया. और यहाँ पे 3 डोज में पेशेंट 7 दिन में पूरे डोज कर लेगा तो वो रेबीज मुक्त हो सकता है. और दूसरा सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट है कि इसमें हमें रेडी नहीं करना है, ऑलरेडी आपने शेयर किया है, ये ऑलरेडी रेडी है, रेडी टू इंजेक्ट है पेशेंट को और डॉक्टर फ्रेंडली है. तीसरी सबसे इम्पोर्टेंट बात है मैम कि नेम इज वेरी कैची. TH स्टैंड फॉर 3, रेबीज ऑल्सो नोन एज डिजीज, तो थ्रैबीज. तो मैं रिक्वेस्ट करना चाहूंगा जो भी डॉक्टर्स इस वेबिनार में अवेलेबल हैं, मैं कि अपने पेशेंट्स जब भी कोई एनिमल बाइट केसेस आप देख रहे हैं तो थ्रैबीज हमारे चित्रकूट हेडक्वार्टर पे और इवन बांदा हेडक्वार्टर पे नंबर ऑफ पार्टीज पर अवेलेबल है, लाइक BL पहाड़ या लाइक इंदिरा बांदा और लाइक संवत डिस्ट्रीब्यूटर. अगर कहीं चांस मिले कि कोई एनिमल बाइट केसेस आपके पास आ रहे हैं तो प्लीज हमें पेशेंट्स को, अगर थ्रैबीज ऑप्शन में है तो प्लीज पेशेंट को हम वो डोज दें जिससे पेशेंट हमारे रेबीज मुक्त हो सकें. तो थैंक यू संध्या मैम, थैंक यू फॉर योर वैल्यूबल
Thank
टाइम
you so
मैम,
much. Thank you so
एंड
much
थैंक
for
यू
giving
टेक्निकल
me the
सपोर्ट. यस मैम,
opportunity
थैंक यू मैम.
to talk about something that is so new and nice. Thank you so much.
सॉरी मैम.
I'm saying that it's something very nice, which is something new for us also. We also got a lot
ओके
of information.
ओके मैम,
Thank you.
थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू फॉर सो वर्ड्स. थैंक यू एंड थैंक यू मैम, थैंक यू माय कैडला टीम आल्सो. थैंक यू, हैव अ नाइस डे. टेक्निकल सपोर्ट, कैन आई लॉग आउट?
Yes, sir.
ओके, थैंक यू.
Welcome, sir.
थैंक यू मैम.